The Battle of Britain was an aerial battle fought from July 1940 to October 1940. The battle was between Germany and Britain, who was going through some political issues at the time, including Britain's military buildup due to France's armistice with Germany.
Yeah. Trouble on my mind. I got trouble on my mind. Trouble on my mind. So much trouble.
The instability of the government due to the evacuation of Dunkirk. And Chamberlain's handling of World War II. Most everyone hated him, as seen in this vintage interview.
So if you could please state your name for the cameras.
Sure, alright. My name is Robert Pendilla. I'm from Manchester, UK, obviously.
Alright, so first question. What is your opinion of Neville Chamberlain's control over...
I'm sorry, I just really hate that guy. I hate that bloody chump. He can kiss my buttocks. I'm so sorry for that outburst. I'm just really passionate about my politics, you know?
Yes, I can tell. It's quite alright, aren't we all? So back to my original question. What is your opinion of you-know-who's handling of World War II?
Okay, well, actually, I've decided not to waste my breath on the fellow. Let us talk about my deep political love for, Winston Churchill. I love his political standpoint. Anyone who is a friend of nationalism is a friend of mine.
So you obviously made your opinion of Neville Chamberlain very clear, and a lot of people seem to agree with you. So...
I mean, of course they do. He's bloody mad.
So, what was it like when Neville, you-know-who, was in power?
It's okay, you don't need to be afraid of me. But life was terrible. Everyone was angry. I mean, it was just pure political madness. I mean, the buffoon even knew himself that he was bad. I mean, it was his choice to resign, and a bloody good one at that.
Alright, well, I'm going to assume that when Chamberlain signed...
Please, stop mentioning his name. I can't do this interview anymore. I hate him so... Get the... Stop. In addition to political issues, social and economic issues existed as well. The roles and lives of women in Britain changed dramatically as their men left to battle Germany. Women working in factories became more common as more positions opened and more work was needed. Women employment in factories raised from 20 to 30% in the 1940s. Some technological advances made in Britain during the 1940s included sound detection and searchlight beams, which were made for detecting enemy aircraft activity. Radar was used very often on the British side of the battle. Radar, or radio direction finding, RDF, is, as some claim, one of the first reasons that Britain was able to claim victory over Germany. The choice was to either use radar or keep British aircrafts constantly in the air and on search over potentially harmful areas where they could have been attacked. Britain opted for the use of radar. Phil Craig was one of the helpers when the radar chain was being formed, and to quote him, he claimed that the radar chain worked as he dreamed it would. Radar was also used to prevent the loss of large numbers of aircrafts on the ground. Germany tried to wipe out all radar stations and bases by bombing them, but early on the method was proven unsuccessful and was given up. Also during the... Wait, we're cutting out.
My name is Rupert Watson. It's August 30th, 1940. I think the Germans are bombing. I think they're coming for me.
Churchill said the Germans are coming, but it's gonna be different this time.
Hitler sees during an air invasion.
Look!
Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart and my.
The Battle of Britain was fought for numerous different reasons, but mostly for Hitler's desire to have complete control over Europe. Hitler had already conquered Poland, Denmark, Norway, Holland, Belgium, France, and Luxembourg with multiple successful blitzkriegs, which were efficient attacks meant to ensure a quick and successful surrender of the enemy, leaving only Britons to stand in Hitler's way of total domination over Europe. In other words, the Battle of Britain was a German attempt to first acquire control over the English Channel and southeast England, and therefore control over Europe. Of course, Britain was under no obligations whatsoever to fight with Germany because they always had the option of surrender. But the majority of the British population agreed with the Prime Minister of the time, Winston Churchill's perspective, that Britain would have to fight Germany in order to save the UK from invasion and therefore Europe as a whole. The Battle of Britain was fought mostly over Britain's own airspace of radar stations. However, some bombings did occur elsewhere, sometimes in big cities such as London. The British also initiated their own attacks on Germany's land, such as the infamous attack on Berlin. Germany's Air Force, the Luftwaffe, planned to gain control over Britain by either forcing a surrender with the blitzkriegs, as they did with Poland, or by gaining air superiority over the RAF. Hitler thought this could be achieved in a mere 4 weeks and planned an invasion for mid-August. However, Hitler grossly underestimated the RAF's power. Reichsmarschall Hermann Göring planned to attack convoys in the English Channel, which he thought would demoralize citizens and deprive them of supplies, thereby luring RAF fighters into the air where the Luftwaffe could easily attack. German bombers began by attacking shipping from mid-July to mid-August. Convoys and ports were also attacked, but British fighters were always present. Germany believed that the British were informed of their whereabouts by the new radar systems and decided that they had to be destroyed immediately. These radar systems, being used by the British, were manned by observers, whose job was to report any approaching aircrafts to security, where fighter squadrons were directed at the enemy through the use of radio. Germany then began bombing these radar stations in August. Many suffered damage, but only Ventnor was put out of work, so the Germans gave up that approach. On August 13th, commonly known as Eagle Day, the Germans began bombing airfields and aircraft factories. This is what brought the British closest to defeat. Repeated bombings of airfields in the southeast put many sector control posts out of the action, and the Germans were believed to be winning the battle. The mindset was kept through a successful bombing by the Luftwaffe on London on September the 7th, spurred on by the British attack on Berlin. However, the next major attack on London was a different story. While Hitler's Air Force was busy bombing London and other major cities, British fighters had an opportunity to rebuild and replenish damaged air bases. The RAF rebuilt their bases and factories and decided to take the Luftwaffe by surprise. On the next major attack on London on September the 15th, the Luftwaffe failed overwhelmingly and suffered many losses when British fighters appeared in large numbers and shot down many German planes. Hitler decided that the RAF was not, in fact, defeated, and on the 17th, he pushed his invasion date back to mid-September. In October, tensions ran high between the two countries as all the main fighting began to die down. All of the main fighting had been done, and the Luftwaffe switched over from daylight bombing to nighttime bombing. On October the 13th, Hitler again postponed his invasion to the spring of 1941. However, This invasion never occurred, and the Royal Air Force website marks the end of the battle on the 31st of October. Some people, namely German historians, may argue that the battle was not over until May of 1941, when German bombers were transferred over in order to prepare for the invasion of the Soviet Union. Either way, Germany's mission was never fulfilled, and therefore the British won the Battle of Britain. Wish you could own your very own brand spankin' new, perfect condition Chevrolet Special Deluxe? Well, so do we.
How about a semi-new, mediocre condition Model A Ford?
Well, now you can.
Introducing the used Model A Ford, offered at only $650.
This particular car is a stunning brown and red color, and it's complete with red rims and white wall tires. It seats up to 4 people and comes with a stylish yet comfortable interior. Let's take a look.
Well, looks like everyone wants one.
Attached is also a spare tire and a dicky seat, commonly called a rumble seat in America. People also called it the mother-in-law seat because the noise that it causes is so loud you can't hear her complain about your driving.
Better hurry into your local Ford dealer now because this offer will not last long.
Us here at Ford will see you there.
Ford, America's safest car.
Shoutout Die Nacht is sung by Kurt Widman, a swing artist who lived from 1906 to 1954. The song is about a woman who is deceiving and destroying men. She is accused of being a witch and using the weakness of man to take advantage of them. She commands all of men. Every man who chooses her will fall into destruction. All men are warned to stay away from the witches.
Es leuchten die Sterne, ich hab dich gerne, nur dich allein. Schön ist die Nacht am Himmel erwacht, der strahlende Mond, die Liebe sich lohnt für ein Glück, nur zu zweit. Schön ist erst die Welt, seit ich dich sah, Sehnsucht, die noch quält, bringt uns das Glück und die Liebe so nah. Ja, schön ist die Nacht, die lauschige Nacht, es leuchten die Sterne, ich hab dich gerne, nur dich allein.
The win for Great Britain was vital. Some may even consider it the most important of World War II. There are predictions of what may have happened between all of the countries if Britain was to have lost the Great Aerial Battle. Hitler would have conquered the Middle East, Africa, Europe, and Asia. It has been hypothesized that the United States would have surrendered. The Soviet Union would have been surrounded and captured within a few months. The Battle of Britain is held in high regard because it is the first time in World War II that Germany's objective wasn't met, making it the first essential turning point in the Second World War.